girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their nails done now. I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their nails done. Girls with their girls with their nails done now.
Player one, shine. Player two, empty. Level one. Dwellers. Bonus round. Let's go. for a rematch.
And it is time for a rematch for another day, a new day here on the Den, a day where I am tired because I stayed up way too late with the boys last night playing Marvel Rivals, which you can see I haven't, I'm not on my usual spot on self with my own like thumbnails and backgrounds and stuff. I still got stuff up from last night. Just as an example, if I flip over to the BRB screen, it's no longer Friday night. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Den, ladies and gentlemen, guys and gals, boys and girls of all ages. Today, something a little different, because I stayed up too late. I'm tired. Talking about game preservation and good old games. Not just good old games Galaxy. I have that pulled up here, and I had you guys looking at that as the opening music was playing. But there's more to good old games than just good old games Galaxy. And there's more ways to preserve games. Well, there's more than one way to preserve games. Now, something I really do want to bring your attention to that I cannot bring your attention to enough is on good old games, their game preservation effort. Going back, trying to get a lot of old games, classic games, and make sure that they remain playable. Make sure that we can continue to enjoy them for days and years to come, right? Games that aren't necessarily supported by the devs anymore, games that aren't necessarily something that can be monetized on an ongoing basis, if you will. And just as an example of game preservation, you know, more ways than one to preserve games. Where was I going to start? Yes. Let's flip over here. Good old games, there's a lot of games you can get for free through Amazon Prime. There's a lot of giveaways through there that you can get for good old games Galaxy. They do have older games for cheap, classic games you may not have heard of. Some newer stuff too, not just older stuff. As an example, you can get some newer stuff as well, but they do a really good job of preserving older games with that games preservation program. You can see here on the new arrivals, Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver 1 and 2 Remastered, up on the front Discover page there. They also regularly have sales, like they got a winter sale going on right now. They have a winter sale calendar coming up with more stuff, giveaways, discounts, all sorts of stuff coming. And the games preservation program is a great way that they've been working to preserve games, a lot of older games. A lot of good games, a lot of classic games, because there was a new Indiana Jones game that came out here. You know, bring your attention to that. The original Witcher, the enhanced edition is on here. Witcher 2, of course, you know, good old games is run by CD Projekt Red, so. But you can see the original Shadow of Chernobyl Stalker game in here. Diablo, Morrowind, which, again, more ways than one to preserve a game, right? And it's nice to see them doing things to keep these games alive and keep these things moving forward. So, you know, we don't necessarily have to go through the things that we used to have to go through back in the day. Where, you know, with the construction set, the base game, that the game disc that you have to have for the base game installation and to play the game, And then the Blood Moon and Tribunal DLC discs here. You don't have to have 4 discs, which I'm not going to argue is very nice. But yes, there's more ways to win than preserve a game. And we do need to look at preserving games, because as we've been seeing here of late, just because a game is new, and just because a game is the new pet project of a legendary studio, that doesn't mean that it's going to outshine some of their older stuff. Right? As an example, you know, since Starfield recently had a DLC, and a lot of people have been pointing at it and saying that it was not what they were wanting, and Bethesda's rethinking how they're going to do DLCs in the future, etc., etc., I would point to this particular DLC right here, the Shivering Isles for Oblivion, which between the base game of Oblivion and Shivering Isles to this day, it's still debated which is actually bigger. Not some tiny little, oh, we're going to give you a few missions in this small little area, or charge you $7 for a single mission, Bethesda. So, again, more ways to preserve games than one. Preserving games is important so we can see the record. We can see where these game companies came from. We can see what we used to be offered and what we used to be offered it for. As an example, Game of the Year edition, new, $20. Now, Game of the Year editions are a great way of preserving games. Another great way of preserving games is collections. Command & Conquer, first decade. If you're looking for a good Command & Conquer game, you want a good RTS game, you need to look no further than this collection. Now, I haven't seen this collection digitally. I haven't seen this entire collection come up on GOG, and there's a lot of these games that I haven't seen come back up at all, even with remasters, even with remakes. 10 different games right here. All good RTS games, well, except for Renegade, which is in fact a first-person shooter, the only Command & Conquer first-person shooter that I'm aware of. Tiberian Sun doesn't really show like a good picture of the game art. You can see it right here on the back, but that was the game that got me interested. That was the game that got me interested in Command & Conquer as a franchise. I got into really big, really in-depth, really intricate RPGs because of Morrowind. Again, more ways to preserve games than one. We've even been seeing some other things come up here of late. Just to show another example here. Let me pop on over here to my store, go into my wish list. Here we are. Star Ocean, the Second Story R. Now, this is a PS1 game, and in the PS1 game, you can tell it's a PS1 game from the graphics, but they've done a good bit of touching it up, done a good bit of improvement on the visuals. But yeah, if you're wanting to get this game hard copy on PlayStation 1, it used to cost a lot of money. Ever since this has come out, though, Star Ocean: The Second Story R, which is very faithful to the original game from my understanding. I haven't purchased it yet. I missed it when it went on sale last time, so I'm kind of waiting for it to go on sale again because, you know, who doesn't want to save money? But they, from my understanding, they have also added in new features and new content along with it, preserving the old while improving it and adding something to it. Again, more ways than one. What are we doing here, Steam? Oh, you just decided You just decided when I told you to go full screen to make your base size the full size of the window. But yes, a lot of different ways to preserve games. And why would we want to preserve games, you ask? Well, why would we want to keep around games? Well, there's a lot of different reasons we want to keep around games. We want to keep these franchises alive. We want to keep these games going. We want to keep a record of where things came from and how the industry has evolved, seeing what we used to get for how much money we used to get it. And, well, something to consider in that is, say, some of the budgets of some of these newer games, as opposed to some of these older games where we got more complete, more fuller games with less BS. As an example, just for something kind of pertinent in the industry, Azure Dreams. Nintendo is currently trying to sue Palworld and make patents and will file for patents and sue over them after the fact of a competitor being more successful than them at their own game. Well, this is a creature capturing game. In Azure Dreams, you have to go up this tower, and there's no checkpoints, so you always start back at the bottom of the tower when you leave. The goal is to get to the very top of the tower and to get the thing at the very top of the tower. It's part of the story. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But also in Azure Dreams, you have a town. You can kind of see a small picture of it right here. Now, in this town, you have to build up your relationships with other members of the town because you're a resident of the town, and then through questing and adventuring and treasure you find in the tower, you are able to help to improve the town. You're able to get like little festival scenes and events to go off in the game as you play through and improve the town and continue to move up the tower. And if you know anything about some cozy games, and a lot of games out here that have been coming out recently getting popularity, one of them being Stardew Valley here, building up your town and improving your town. There's games that have town rank, town levels. It's a big part of a lot of games now, and a lot of games that are trying to go with retro styles as well. For improving your town and improving that kind of thing, I know from Miss Macabre that Coral Island has a similar system of improving town rank and making things look nicer and better around the town. And there's a couple of other games that she's been playing here of late that I don't remember off the top of my head. I want to say maybe Go-Go Town or Fields of Mystria. There's similar stuff in there. Again, don't quote me on those games because she plays more games than I do, and well, I have a little trouble keeping up with everything sometimes. But yes, that's features and stuff that you found: creature capturing, town improving, building up the town, making the town nicer, improving, your relationship as a character with other members of the town. Those are present here. So come back to the recent things in the industry. What is Nintendo going to sue Azure Dreams? What are we going to have Stardew Valley creators, right? Are we going to have Concerned Ape? Are we going to have people that make other kinds of cozy games like that? Or are they going to try to come up with patents and retroactively sue a game that came out in 1998? Like, what's honestly going on here? People are afraid of competition. People's feelings get so easily bruised because someone does better than, does your thing better than what you do. Like, what in the hell is actually going on? Another great example of preserving older games. One of my favorite I won't say one of my favorite RTS games, but it is up there. It's a mech game. It's an RTS. Front Mission 3. I love this game. Absolutely love it. Good old games. And I've got the second one wishlisted. I don't got the first one wishlisted. But Front Missions 1 and 2 are available on GOG, preserved. You can still play them. You don't have to have a PS1 or a PS2. Right now, I'm looking for to get a new PS2 because, well, yeah, the red, white, and the red, white, yellow connections into the PC. I had to solder the connections to keep it working on the inside, and yeah, it's just, you know, after owning and periodically using the same PlayStation 2 for 20 years. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that's probably reaching the end of its lifespan, especially with how much I used to play my PS2. But, you know, Front Mission 2, I don't have to worry about, well, I do have to worry about hardware, but I don't necessarily have to worry about this specific piece of hardware or a compatible piece of hardware. You know, with game preservation, remakes, remasters, we can keep games playing on newer hardware, more widely accessible, more easily compatible, right? And that really matters. That really matters. And we're seeing that because we have another remake coming out of a game, or it's supposed to be kind of in the sort of same vein of, but another great game that we could preserve. Wild, wacky, characters of all different kinds and sizes. You know, we have Path of Exile 2 coming out. Anybody remember Champions Return to Norath, or Champions Return to Arms, or Champions of Norath and Champions Return to Arms? Great top-down ARPG type games. Great stories, great game links, great number of missions, tough boss fights, a lot of class depth to where you can really play the same class multiple different ways and you can really dig down into them on certain things. Something else we might want to preserve, right? I don't have something to point to here on GOG for it, but another great game that we really want to preserve. Since I was playing a superhero game yesterday, and I was talking with my buddy Vinicio del Toro about how we're excited that there's a good superhero game out that might have some staying power to it. You know? It's been a long time since we've had a good, solid superhero game that had a large amount of characters available. Now, for Marvel Ultimate Alliance Special Edition here, and you also got Ultimate Alliance 2, and I think there's a special edition for Ultimate Alliance 2. Marvel's Avengers, you wish you could have gotten even half as many characters. You have to support things. You have to bake them well. You have to make sure that they're going to be something out the gate people are going to want to engage with and is going to be good. As an example here, it won't let me scroll on those. It'll let me pause them. But Diablo and Diablo 2. Epic. Great story. Great replayability. Not worried about seasons or making people restart things to force them to engage with this, that, or the other the way you want to. No, just make a good, solid game, and people will engage with it. Power World is a great example of this. Marvel Rivals is a great example of this. Now, whether Marvel Rivals sticks around or not, we'll have to see. Hopefully, it will. But Marvel Heroes Omega was another great superhero game, but because Disney didn't control it, it got shut down. Them having a great, solid game with a wide variety of heroes that was being supported well, that was developed well, that wasn't enough. And that's the problem. You can look at that and many other things in the industry. Instead of worrying about making a great game, a great product that people will want to engage with for years at a time, oh no, we have to be worried about being able to make the most money. as opposed to making the best product. So when you have games that take crap out of their game, make it unavailable, make stuff unplayable, they're not even preserving their own franchise, they're not even preserving their own game, they're not even preserving their own... Let's look at X-Defiant. X-Defiant was doing good, it was doing solid. It wasn't making Ubisoft all the money that they wanted it to. Shut down. Great solid game, great solid product. But no, it wasn't making all the money. What happened to making good stories? What happened to making complete products? What happened to preserving the weird and the different that drew people into things? What? Are we just going to destroy our history? Are we going to try to monopolize who can and can't do what? Are we just going to forget about where things came from? Are we going to forget about what? The solid cores of things that made things great? Completely forgot Hoshigami was an Atlas game, by the way. And to kind of get more into something a little closer to home and to get into some gaming, a game I played back in the day, my brother owned it. I didn't own it. It was my brother's, and he was just kind enough to let me play it. Tachyon, The Fringe. Now, shameless plug, I did a little, the story of Jake Logan, started it up a ways back. I was playing through, making clips of little bits and pieces of the story of Tachyon. It's a space sim game. You got 2 main pathways through it. You got choices that matter, things that you do and don't do that are optional objectives and missions. That they do have an impact on the story. Sorry, I don't have YouTube Premium, but they do have an impact on the story. Just as an example, let's boot her up here real quick. Oh, now why are you showing the Creeptober background when I don't have that up there at all? Uno momentito, chat. I am in the way, apparently. And it'll probably work out better if I get my ugly mug off. Yes, works out better if I get my ugly mug off the screen. But in Tachyon, you have 2 main pathways. You have 2 main factions. The Bora and the Galspan. Now, when you make the decision to choose one faction over the other, not only does it change most of the missions that you will, well, I won't say it changes most, because all of the side missions are pretty much the same between both factions. It's the main story missions that will change drastically. And in Galspan, they are the rich boys. They got all the nice toys. They got all the fanciful ships. They got all the, the new high-tech gadgetry type of stuff. They're the big evil, depending on what faction, what side you go with, they could be the big evil mega corpo, right? And you can see all their different ships here. You make more money. You make more money on Galspan. Their missions pay you more. They're the bigger corp. So you get paid more money through them. That's how I have here right before the final mission all of my ships outfitted with weapons. Right? Now, let's say you like more of the underdog story, right? You might be more of a Bora person then, right? And for the Bora, everything looks kind of rusty, ragtag, a little patched together, not quite so nice. Still cool, still got their own unique theme and style. right? Their ships don't look like the Galspan ships. And on the Bora, there are some weapons that I have that I kept that I didn't want to sell back, like the EMP launcher, which is something a little more unique than just your standard weapons. But I've only got one ship that's actually outfitted with weapons and tech. So they're kind of like the hard mode, if you will. Oh, and also, look at this. To go to my hangar to continue my mission, I don't have to go to my job board. I can just click on and go into the hangar. And this option for the hangar only becomes available once you have a job selected. Right? Click on the exit hatch, the exit door to the room to go back out to the main menu. Now this is a game that came out, 2001. It's a great space sim game. It's a great little space flight sim game. Again, 2 different factions, voiced by the greatest chin alive. The main character, your character, is voiced by Bruce Campbell. They got a lot of different voice acted parts. When you're getting your mission briefings, those are voiced to you by various characters. It's a great old game. And especially in a day and age where we can find so many games that don't necessarily have good voice acting or voice acting at all. You can engage in big epic space battles. You've got free roam areas, or even when you're on a mission, hey, I want to fly around this space station and kind of see what this big massive thing they built is. You can do that. Now, another way to preserve a game, for something very near and dear to my heart, is Homeworld, is Homeworld Cataclysm. Wait, what? Hang on a second. Can I not read? Apologies? Apologies for what, Miss Macabre? Thank you for being here again today, this morning, Miss Macabre. Thank you for watching me and my homies have some fun last night on a game, act silly, goof around, get our butts kicked a little bit, kick some butt a little bit, you know. I want to say thank you very much. And thank you for being back today. But I do need you to tell me, apologies for what? Are you apologizing for the number of similar games you play? Because you shouldn't. Because if that's what you like, that's how you that's what you should play. And if you got ways to play those games that you like, then that's how you should play. You shouldn't be concerned with the brand. You shouldn't be concerned with a specific platform. Real gamers play good games on whatever platform they want. But while we wait for Miss Macabre to answer what she's apologizing for in the chat, Morecat, can you not read? Can you literally not read, Morecat? Like what is going on right here? You're talking about Homeworld Cataclysm. It looks like you got some kind of knockoff, cheap, scammy, ripped it, cracked version of a game on a disc. Well, no. As evidence, CD key back in the day. Right? Now, this is the game that I became a gamer over. It's a really great game. It's I'm not going to say it's going to stack up to the OG quite as well as I expected to. Oh, and we need to go full screen. OBS don't like me having my camera up too. This is part of where some of the issues came from with the branding. game is much louder than I was expecting. We'll go ahead and turn this back a wee bit. Just to make sure we're not being too loud. I don't want to blow people's eardrums. But Homeworld Cataclysm by Sierra, when it was owned by Sierra Studios, Intangible Barking Dog Studios, same thing with Relic and Sierra over the original Homeworld. Well, fortunately, those got bought up by Gearbox. At least last I knew they were still owned by Gearbox. And they have been preserved. Now, Homeworld Cataclysm had to be renamed to Homeworld Emergence because of, licensing, branding type stuff. And, well, we'll talk a little bit more about the game as I play a little bit of it. Not going to be going for too long here. I mainly wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about old games and game preservation, kind of rant a little bit about the industry. But why old games, Morecat? Why old games? Well, as you heard from my buddy, the Realist 58, last night, and I've been hearing this from lots and lots of other gamers my age. New games just aren't as good and aren't as fun as our older games. They just aren't. Why? Well, because everything is so focused around monetization, ongoing engagement. It's not about providing a complete product. It's not about providing you with a good game that you want to sit down and play over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, we got some good ones, right? Sorry, Homeworld. But just to come back over here. Oh, and I do need to pause my background music for the game. But Baldur's Gate 3 is a great example of a game done right here of late. And through good old games, you can get Baldur's Gate, the Enhanced Edition, and Baldur's Gate 2, the Enhanced Edition. This is two games that my buddy Realist is talking about he's interested in. He's looking at playing. Like me, he got them free through Amazon Prime. And if you want to see where Larian started and where Baldur's Gate eventually came, what eventually led to Baldur's Gate 3, that's a good way to do it. Two good old games. But let's check out some Homeworld Cataclysm.
The war for Higara has left the galaxy in turmoil. The past 15 years have seen the birth of new possibilities and the festering of old grudges. The once dominant Taidan Empire has fractured under the strain of civil war. The new Taidani Republic tries to hold the old territories together, while forces loyal to the old emperor lurk in the new bandit kingdoms, waiting for their chance to strike back. While the Taidani struggle between past and future, the Kushan people have established themselves on Higara, building new cities, repairing the damage done by the final battle for their home world. Even a fragile peace has its politics. The Kith Council has been re-established, and the future of Higara is now debated amongst the gathered Kithsa. Even amongst equals, there are power struggles. The mothership still orbits high above Higara.
Look at
Pressed
her.
into the role of shipyard,
Isn't she beautiful
she now
still?
builds new carriers to the specifications of each individual Kith. The need for new ships and the crews to man them is a desperate one. Military and economic pressure on the new Higarans is intense. Resources and technology are at the command of the Council. Kith, with little or no political power, have been forced to purchase technology from the Bentusi and other races. Higaran ships of exotic design now seek their fortune amongst the stars. The war for Homeworld is over now, but the galaxy remains a dangerous place.
Coming in on Vector 247. Cargo secured.
All right, clear away.
Yes, this used to be pretty high quality back in the day.
Sector 12 empty. Moving on.
Getting to see your ships fly that close to a bigger ship without bouncing off.
This is Somtov Fleet Command to all ships. Prepare for emergency hyperspace. Set course for the home world.
You can actually see your turrets on the mothership.
I've got your wing. Target in sight.
Stabilizer control.
Preparing for launch, sir. I got it.
Power down to 40%, sir.
Powering up weapon. Sharp left, I'll take it right. You missed the spot, over left. Rear view, watch out.
Target setting explosion and fire.
Didn't have anything like that in the first Homeworld.
Auto launch set.
Well, not that I remember
Tactical
off the top
officer
of my head.
online. Full power to sensors, analyzing combat data now. Command, we need to find out where we can do the most good.
Understood, Tactical. Attention carrier Virak. This is Kith Somtom mining vessel Kunlan. We have arrived in sector 112 and request targeting data.
Good to have you, Kunlan. We've got a strike fleet needing cover in Sector 109. Can you assist?
We'll send everything we've got, but be advised, we are a mining vessel. It would be best if we did not have to move directly into the main battle.
strike wing of Fireland's frigates are under attack from Titani bombers at this position.
Without fighter support, the frigates will be destroyed and that flank will collapse. Send out a squad of Acolyte fighters ASAP to assist the frigates.
Worker ready. Harvesting.
Just say the word. They'll never hit me.
Setting aside Group 8, Delta. Formation set.
Coordinates locked in.
Alright, so we need to get some fighter support going here.
Construction underway.
We'll get a couple more resource harvesters
Beginning
as well.
construction.
Now, while we're sitting here going through things, I can already tell. Alright, now, as I said, Homeworld is the game that kind of roped me in at a very young age into being a gamer and wanting to game all the time, and new games, new challenges, made me a gamer. There were some other games that were there as well that were big influencers.
We've picked up a flight of Taidan fighters incoming from the main battle. They're probably investigating our hyperspace signature.
And here they come. The iconic Titani heavy cruiser. The iconic Higerin destroyer. And of course the Titani destroyer as well. With this little spread out spines on it. And of course the Higerin carrier, also iconic. Well, for this franchise and series, we will say that.
Bridge. Be advised, fleet. Command ship is relocating.
Roger, Command. Roger, Command.
Setting aside
Going to
Group
high
1.
alert now. Target locked in.
Worker ready. Understood. Harvesting.
Alright,
Worker
now
here.
something that was
Setting
really
aside Group
unique
9.
about the Homeworld franchise was the 3D movement in space.
Stand by Group 1.
Once we get our second fighter wing
Lack of
here,
resources.
Going into docking pattern.
we will send our acolytes on over to help frigates who don't have fighter support, who are getting rather thrashed by bombers.
Receiving.
When I was young, I played a lot of space games like Tachyon, Homeworld. I was big into space stuff.
Roger,
And the
Command.
big appeal to me of the Homeworld franchise
Stand by
was
Group
instead
1.
of just piloting one ship, like one X-Wing or one A-Wing, or, you know, an Archangel or a Battle Axe or a Cutlass or an Orion, I got to command the entirety
Stand by
of the
Group
fleet.
1.
Understood. I've been
Claw.
looking
Formation
for a flight.
set.
Underway. Receiving. Ready. Roger, Command.
There we are.
Roger, Command.
Setting aside
Going to
Group
high
2.
alert now. Underway.
Now,
to
something
coordinates
I-
now.
Stand by
I will
Group
have to
1.
say about this game that has been a problem with
Moving out.
the Homeworld franchise is the simplifying of the unit variety, formations, and kind of general control over building squadron size. It's something I'm not particularly fond of in Homeworld 2, and I guess you could say it started with this spin-off, but I don't know. Still a good bit more unit type and variety here than you find in even some of the newer Homeworld games.
Command ship is underway.
Granted, it's not as extensive as the unit variety in the first Homeworld.
Stand by Group 1.
Weapons charged.
Stand by Group 2.
Target acquired.
Report of hostiles by Group 9.
Receiving. Ready.
Ugh, here we go. I also kind of like this. Being able to go into basically the pilot seat view of one craft.
Stand by Group 1.
Moving to attack.
Stand by Group 2.
Target acquired.
Let's save these guys down here.
Report of hostiles by Group 9.
Now, as you can see, the enemy does have a carrier up here, but we're going to let the frigates take care of that. See, there's an explosion over there of us fighting.
Stand by Group 1.
I feel really bad for that one bomber. 'Cause that's a lot of projectiles getting shot at.
Stand by Group 1.
Coordinates locked in.
We've done it. By taking pressure off Kith Nabal's flank force, we've helped hold the line.
Attention, Kunlan. The first Imperialist attack wiped out our sensor grid. We need you to scout enemy positions with your recon ships. We are planning a counterattack.
Stand by Group 2.
Underway.
Before we head to
Stand by Group 8.
retask ourselves here. Oh, let's do a little waypoint thing so they don't hang out. Now, I do have full 3D range of movement. I can set vertical height, which does come into play, especially in PvP.
There are no more available resources in the explored
hyperspacing.
area.
I'm on my way, Command.
Stand by Group 1.
Moving to attack.
Stand by Group 2.
Returning to hangar.
You have that availability in the first Homeworld game. The big difference between Homeworld and Homeworld Cataclysm / Emergence is that the Homeworld campaign is a little bit longer. I want to say it's got like 2 or 3 missions more than I think Emergence Cataclysm here does. I will say that it's a bit tougher, and that comes from the variety of units you need to manage for a variety of different purposes here.
Roger, Command. Going into docking pattern.
We have picked up a convoy of enemy resources with escorts in this area. They must be resupplying the Imperialist attack fleet. Engage and destroy them.
Now, it is at this point I want to point out that the carrier Virak from Kith Nabal said they were going to launch counterattack. I do want to point that out.
Report of hostiles by Group 8.
Oh, something else I like about some older games, like RTS type games, because they understand you don't have all the time in the world to sit here and watch people.
Our engineers think there is a way to link our acolytes together to form a Corvette-class vessel. They are ready to begin research on the project.
Research underway. Construction underway.
Worker ready.
Stand by Group
All in
9.
rock.
Stand by Group
Understood.
1.
I've been
Stand
looking
by
for a
Group
fight.
2. Stand by Group 1.
Underway to
Stand by
coordinates now.
Group 2.
Moving out.
You do have the ability to speed up time.
Stand by Group 1.
Target locked in.
Stand by Group 2.
Weapons charged.
Stand by Group 1.
Target acquired.
Report of hostiles by Group 1.
Specifically target their escorts with one squadron here. Get rid of that annoyance.
Report of
and
hostiles by
frustration
Group 2.
quickly.
Target locked in.
Stand by Group 1.
And they're back in formation.
Bridge. Command ship is underway.
Receiving.
Setting aside
Going to
Group
high
3.
alert now.
Stand by Group 1. Stand by Group 3.
Weapons charged.
Research completed.
ACV is now available for construction.
Flashbang. If anybody wasn't awake.
Stand by Group 1. Stand by Group 2.
Returning to hangar.
Stand by Group 1. Stand by Group 3. Attention Kith Nabal. This is the Somtom mining vessel Kunlan.
Coordinates
The enemy
locked in.
resources have been
Going into
destroyed.
docking pattern.
Stand by Group 2.
Okay. And there's those bad guys at the sensor grid.
Warning, the proximity sensor net is under attack in Sector 110. If the net fails, the Taidan force can run their entire fleet through the hole. We must defend the net immediately.
Stand by Group 3.
Returning to hangar.
Oh, I lost on my
Stand by Group 9.
Gonna need at least one
Beginning
of those.
construction. Stand by Group 1.
Understood.
Claw.
I've been
Formation
looking for a
set.
fight. Moving out.
Well,
Underway.
let's try to intercept.
Stand by Group 3.
Going into docking pattern.
Thought I'd already told them.
Recon, ready to go.
Okay, we will make you
Setting assigned
Got
Group
that.
8.
Evading.
Escorts
just
assigned.
have you hang out by the home ship.
Stand by Group 2. Report of
Moving to
hostiles
attack.
by Group 2.
Excellent. Locked down. Docked.
Report of hostiles by Group 2. Stand by Group 1.
Going to high
Claw.
alert now.
Formation set.
Target acquired.
Stand by Group 3.
3's already back.
Understood.
Claw.
I'm
Formation
looking
set.
for a fight. Moving to attack.
Stand by Group 2.
Target locked in.
Oh, well, finish this guy
Report of
first.
hostiles by Group 2.
Thought you guys had already finished him off.
Target acquired.
Alright.
Stand by Group 2.
Little proximity sensor. People that have played Homeworld 1 will recognize those. But even though Homeworld Cataclysm / Emergence does kind of limit the unit variety, and it was kind of the beginning of that limitation that has just gotten kind of worse over time.
Report of hostiles by Group
It still has more unit variety than many of the newer games, and well, I should say many than the two newer games than it. And it does have a good campaign with a. It does instill a good sense of dread for you when you find the bad guy. Crap, it's gonna try to.
Our forces have taken the upper hand. The Imperials are pulling back. One of their damaged cruisers is in this area.
Track it down and make sure it never threatens Higara again.
There are no more available resources in explored area. Stand by
Target
Group
locked
1.
in. Weapons charged.
Stand by Group
Moving to
3.
attack.
Construction underway.
Worker ready.
Alright, now normally we would have to wait a good long while for our acolytes to catch up.
Stand by Group 1.
Moving to attack.
Stand by Group 2.
Target locked in.
Stand by Group
Target
3.
acquired.
Stand by Group 1. Report of hostiles by Group 1.
Weapons charged.
Stand by Group 1.
Target locked in. Target acquired.
Stand by
Moving
Group
to
2.
attack.
Stand by Group 3.
Returning to hangar. Roger, Command.
Yeah, you guys get out of there. Oh,
Roger, Command. Maneuver drive at full thrust.
yeah,
There
let's
are
make
no
it hard
more
for him
available
to hit
resources in explored area.
I'm gonna keep you guys behind him.
Report of hostiles by Group 1.
It's a nice little strategy game.
There are no more available resources in explored area. Stand by Group 1.
Going to high
Claw.
alert now.
Formation set.
Weapons charged.
Stand by Group 2.
Target
You
locked
guys
in.
can just try and stay behind him. You're already hurt.
The tie-down cruiser has been eliminated.
Stand by
Going
Group
into
1.
docking pattern.
Objective completed. There are no
Ready.
more available resources in explored area.
Understood.
Claw.
I've been
Formation
looking
set.
for a fight.
Stand by Group 9.
Good timing.
Stand by
Rattle
Group
the
8.
manifold.
Locking on to your beacon.
Moving core fleet. This is command.
Alright, and let's speed up time here to get all of our broskies back.
Launching ships now. Stand by Group 1. Stand by Group 2. Stand by Group 3. Stand by Group 2. Stand by Group 1.
Okay.
Stand by
we are
Group
gonna,
3.
We're gonna actually eliminate 3.
Stand by Group 4.
We're
Setting
gonna
aside
change
Group
to
3. Stand by Group 1. Stand by Group 2.
Going to high alert
Claw.
now.
Formation set.
Separate
Escorts
2
assigned.
out.
Stand by Group 1. Adding ships to Group 1.
Understood.
Claw.
I've been
Formation
looking
set.
for a fight.
Stand by
Returning
Group
to
2.
hangar.
Escorts assigned.
Roger, Command.
Stand by Group 2.
So we just need to build one more.
Beginning construction. Stand by Group 2. Adding ships
Going
to
to
Group
high
2.
alert now.
Escorts assigned. Launching ships now. Stand by Group 2. Adding ships to Group
Understood.
2.
I've been looking for a fight.
Escorts assigned.
Alright. That's the first mission.
Mayday, mayday! Losing air! Tumbling! We've got 3 unexploded warheads on this TIE cruiser. Suggest...
Hang in there, Blade 9. We'll have you locked down in a click.
Careful, careful! That reactor is unstable.
Good work with the Kal-El frigate, Workers 5 and 7. I'm sure they'll forget to thank us later.
You got that right.
Worker 12. Did you track down those suit beacons we picked up in Sector 43?
Sorry, Command. We found the suits, but the poor dogs didn't have a chance to get their helmets on. We tagged them for the burial ships.
Attention, Higaran ships. We have thrown back the Imperial attack fleet. Higara should be safe once again. Kithnabel would like to thank our brothers and sisters from Kithmanan, Sajet, and Kal-El for their aid in battle. Higara is in their debt, as are we.
I do like how you get to see more representation of the different colors of the Kith, because each different Kith has their own color scheme. And you get to see more of that in this game.
We've been asked by Kith Mahan to help her find one of their destroyers. The last word the Bushan Ray sent was about power plant failure. There are reports of tyrannic raider ships operating in this region, so all pilots should stay on the lookout for pirate vessels.
Our workers aren't currently fitted for salvage and repair duty. We need to build an engineering module in order to prepare our work crews. We will have to jettison the upper ore canister to make room.
Launching ships now. Launching ships now. Or transfer to AUX storage bays. Jettisoning canister. Triggering canister destruct to keep it out of pirate hands.
I think he was a little late on those callouts. Except for the detonating one.
Stand by Group 1.
Going to high
Claw.
alert now.
Formation set.
Understood.
Claw.
I've been
Formation
looking
set.
for a fight.
Claw. Formation set.
Sensors are picking up fast-moving meteor belts in the region. Fighters should have no problem maneuvering through them. But if the destroyer drifts into one of them, it could be easily destroyed.
Stand by Group 9. Command ship is underway. Stand by Group 3. Escorts assigned. Stand by Group 1. Stand by Group 2. Stand by Group 1.
letting me at him.
Oh, where is it? What is it, over here?
I'll be there before you blink.
Probably not.
Engineering module is now online. Research, repair, and salvage technology so our workers can assist the Bushan-Ri.
Beginning research.
The Bushan-Ray. The good old Bushan-Ray.
Command. Be advised, fleet. Command ship is relocating.
Confirmed Raider presence. Go to full alert.
Research completed.
Repair technology available. Upgrade workers.
And I'm anticipating they're gonna dive straight down on me. Maybe not, though. Trying to get out of the drifting asteroids. They keep drifting with me.
Bridge. Command ship is underway. Stand by, Group 3.
Uh-oh. But that is a little bit of an old game near and dear to my heart. One that has been preserved through the efforts of another company. And there again, there's multiple ways you can preserve games. Emulation is another big one. But, you know, of course, there are certain issues around that as well. Something that I was interested in PlayStation for a while when they first began to talk about it, but we haven't really seen very much, is their supposedly super fancy emulation technology where they're going to be able to like copy over like their entire PS1 and PS2 library for like the most part, and you know, you'd be able to get access to that. They've been making some progress in that regards, I guess, because they have been preserving some of their older titles. They have been getting some of them emulated, you know, some of them being remade. Trying to think. I stayed up too late. Oh, Star Ocean: The Second Story that I showed you earlier. Star Ocean: The Second Story R. That is a game that has been preserved. The Mass Effect trilogy has been updated and remastered, as you saw here in GOG, BioShock Remastered. So, you know, those are being preserved, but, you know, those aren't necessarily as old as some things like Biomenace or the first couple of Baldur's Gates. Coming down here to things like Tachyon, Stargunner, older Tomb Raider games, Star Trek Bridge Commander. Come over here to my wish list, because I mostly keep things on wish list to keep an eye out for sales, like really big sales, kind of like, you know, where it makes games really cheap for me. Oh, you were $2.99 on the last sale. I guess I should have gotten you then, Brutal Legend. But yeah, older games, Hotline Miami, Star Trek Armada for more RTS type games. Again, they do have some newer stuff on GOG as well, but, you know, we need to keep the greats around. We need to keep the history alive, or maybe not necessarily alive, but at least somewhat playable, at least somewhat accessible still, so we can see where things came from. I mean, I don't know how many people have played Homeworld 2 as opposed to Homeworld 1. But if you've played Homeworld 2 and you're like, I wasn't all that into it, Homeworld didn't really capture me, I suggest you give Homeworld 1 a try. Or if you like things to be a bit weird, maybe a little bit more sci-fi space horror, I would recommend Homeworld Cataclysm/Emergence. Games that spawn franchises, need to keep those alive and around, right? We need to keep a record of where some companies and some studios came from, so that way when they're sitting here telling us that things cost hundreds of millions of dollars and they need to charge us, higher prices for, bumping my mic, for small DLC installments, small DLC establishments, saying that, oh, hey, we can't give you a ton. That's going to cost a lot of money, take a lot of time. It needs to take 15, 20 years to develop, the next installment in the franchise. And, it's got to last for 10 years. You wonder why this game lasted for so long? Because it was fucking good. Why this game lasted so long? Because it's fucking good. Not because you built it to last for 10 years. Your fans are what keep you around for 10 years. Not you thinking that you need to constantly make more money for giving out less and less and then taking away crap, reprinting it, one-to-one copy, and calling it new. Maybe you change the paint scheme. Yeah, maybe you change the paint scheme and call it new. Or you could just make good games. As a certain YouTuber that I really like to watch, I like to pay attention to his daily news show while I'm at work. He has a saying. And I suggest you go find this man, because he is a wise man. Make a game, sell a game. Ever heard of Mega Man X? This is 5. X5. Mega Man X was the 10th one. So this is the 15th one. Why did they get 15 of them made? Because they were good. One more moment. To further illustrate the point of just make the game good. Don't worry about if it's going to be around for 10 years or not. Worry about it being good. Don't worry about if we can... Don't, hey, we can just, give them something that they can find other places, and we're just going to monetize it and then constantly, try to make them engage with new stuff by resetting them. You don't got to do that. Oh, you're going to try to pull off nostalgia of the franchise. Oh, hey fans, we're going to keep your franchise alive, but then you're going to give us a downgrade. But to make the last little illustration of the point of why we need to preserve good games and older games, because older games tend to be more consistently good than newer games, the Final Fantasy hasn't happened yet. The Final Fantasy has been going on like as long as I have been alive. They keep saying it's the final one. But it's not the final one. And you want to know why it's never the final one? Because it's good. Not because it was built to be monetized, not because it was built to have retention or to touch on what's popular amongst whatever BS. Make a good game. Brand recognition don't do squat for you if your game ain't good. Support your good old games, guys. Go check out Good Old Games run by CD Projekt Red. Make sure you're looking at Amazon Prime for those giveaways for Good Old Games. Make sure you're looking for other giveaways. They've got a lot of sales going on. A lot of games are for real cheap. Just as an example, Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Battlespire, and where'd it go? Redguard. I got all of those for less than $20. I got all of those for less than $20. I got everything here. And I'm pretty sure everything here for less than $20. They do have newer stuff. You can find newer stuff on here. Well, some newer stuff. Not like all the newer stuffs, some newer stuff. But even though some old games, I'm sorry, like I'm not gonna pretend that my home world when I'm playing the original version, and it's not like necessarily the remastered version, I'm not gonna pretend that it looks the prettiest, right? I'm not gonna pretend that if you're like, hey, do I want to play this game? I'm not gonna lie. Visually, some of them just ain't gonna catch you, and that's perfectly fine, well and good, right? Some people don't like the more retro aesthetic, right? But we need to keep our games around. We need to keep our history around. Because used to, as Mr. 30 and Still Gaming says, they used to make a game and sell a game. They don't make games and sell you games anymore. You want to be approaching your 20th Final Fantasy game developer out there? You want to have a franchise that'll be iconic and stick around and you can just keep making games and keep selling them? It's very simple. Make it good. And it'll be around for a long time and you'll sell lots of different games. Make it good. Oh. We're doing this. Okay. Ruining my point, technology. Frickin' Skynet. I swear, Lord is my witness. Cooperate with me today, Skynet, please. Okay, so hang on. Vamp. Pretend like you didn't see this so I can make my point, please. But you make a game good, and you make, as Mr. 30 and Still Gaming says, you make a game to sell a game. It will stick around. You'll get your 15, 20 Final Fantasies. You'll get your 15, 16, 20 Mega Mans. You'll get to have your really awesome, really well-known Baldur's Gate 2, and that'll lead up into you making something that will define a generation. You gotta make it good. Don't make it for money. Don't make it for clout. Don't make it to please people. Don't make it to trend chase. Make it good. Thank you all. little bit of a rant, a little bit of something different, mainly because original plan got derailed because I was up way too late last night playing Marvel Rivals with the homies, and I gotta say, Mrs. LeBeau, I do not want to be on the business end of your Loki scepter anytime soon. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Please drop a like, share around, subscribe for more, leave a comment on this VOD, you know? Feel free to leave a comment on other videos. What do you think about game preservation? What do you think? You think we need to keep all games around? Think we need to keep the history? Wow, that sounded so intelligent. Do you think we need to keep the history around? Do you think it's important to remember where things came from when they made good things and sold good things? And yes, I'm showing 8. I got 7 right here, people. Don't crucify me, all right? I like the card game. Shut up. But you know, if you make it to be good, and you're not trying to pull off a nostalgia, you're not trying to pull off, you know, you're not trying to play off nostalgia, right? Don't make your game to try to be a 10-year experience. Don't. It'll be a 10-year experience if it's good on its own. You won't need nostalgia if it's good, and you can make something new, right? You can make something that's new and kind of a spin-off, and it'll be good. Don't. No. Fuck you money is not the point of trying to make something. It's not the point of trying to build a player base. Yeah, it's hard. Suck it up. Make something good. Sell something good. And it'll be around, and people will debate to this day, was the base game or the DLC bigger, better? And you can have your 10 years. Thank you all for coming and watching. Go check out 30 and Still Gaming. Wise dude. Please drop a like, share around, subscribe for more. Mainly those reviews from me. And have a wonderful rest of your day.